Okay, you said, so what's the order?
It's gonna be T, case, and my partner's gonna hand me the laptop to read a couple of cards and the criticism.
Okay, T case K.
Yep.
Gotcha.
You all good? Concede to the second T definition that they read within this debate. That means they don't lead to any regulations, which means they don't provide any mechanism by which marginalized communities can be protected from the aggressions of the capitalist market. They're only a piece of evidence they read on this question that leads to they claim that leads to a mindset shift. It's the Molise evidence that says that yes, there has been a state control over research and development, especially for the medical marijuana debate, but doesn't say that it will actually lead to a spillover change. It says the individual cannot challenge a state, and then goes on to quote who Congress said there misses only one, and this is not a unique instance. There are plethora of issues that lead to state control. That means they have no internal link being able to solve the impacts. Of when they see go to the case debate. Even if there were no risk of regulations, they still don't break down how corporations or cartels operate. Means that they would use the breakdown of the state as a means by which they can expand their own neoliberalism markets on the neo-lib debate. Specifically, they say this assumes a piece of assumes regulations at first. It doesn't. That was done. Work was done above. And second, no regulations are worse because the law allows large companies to come in and fill the marketplace, allowing and not allowing individuals to engage within those markets, and being able to reserve the profits for themselves. Legalization, expansion, the privatization of market economic benefit only available to the class business. Some people are the expanse and stock capital capitalized and lead to legalization. Legalization picks winners and losers in the weed market, creates big marijuana corporate takeover and privatization of the market, and shows the market moves in direction of exclusion. That's Calhoun. To win this argument, we don't have to win that they lead to regulations, only if they expand the market. All the ideas may be good in the abstract, but doesn't assume a world in which the mechanism of the app occurs, which our evidence indicates there's a substantial increase in the liberal practices that exist, and this status quo and deregulating is a subtle form of neoliberal governance. Reinscribes social relation, makes a competition, sees the political and destroys agency. Read 9. Deregulation is such strategy neoliberalism in the form of government with who dispersion, and a critical liberalism is focused on particular reduction to influence neoliberalism, just about the difference between different societies, and representation of different subject to the difference between capital citizens and economic subject. These differences face the regulation, one of the competition replaces the multiple space in relation, and becomes privatized. Neoliberalism entails mastering organizations on the side, and drug globalizations that are liberalization, finding negative freedom, rational economic choice, turns keys because it leads to government's controls the energy relief for 7. It's hard that the police were cracked down and more concentrated themselves to become cannabis users and forced to go homegrown strong because the most successful known capitalists, the neoliberals allow huge market transfers among drugs, and position lost to business when it comes to succeeding mafias, they're going to consider the labels and allies to legalize drugs and be third by dealing with drugs, problem drugs will be able to collect direct control of the citizen, drive and limit the damage, supports the legalization to debate arguments of self-determination, violation, different, the classic labor neoliberal and negative consumption of freedom, and freedom is compatible with existing past conceptions required as the present neoliberal governization, and legalization may run just the conception of neoliberal state to appease mass from rebellion, reformers that inevitably turns to new means of control will leave in a day. However, we reduce the image of rebellion, simulation can organize global image, lacking margin, or outside human relation to be expressed commodity relation, performance become impossible to building relation and transforming sustaining enhancing the power freedom because means the freedom of control. And legalization comes to the drug and nomination order reform can be turned into means of control considered by the result of legalization, however, if following regulation from above, laws we time begins to move around on sort of be defined by law say, chemistry doing until legalization could foster title control 10% of the can counter good gray market. The gray market is a free from capitalism, legalization, regulation, and reform and legalization reform doomed to favor deep infrastructure, reason that agitation capital the capital to withdraw because of the information distorted when the performance of distorted AS agitation allowed the speech to free speech to maintain a form and were never permitted. And on the shift aside debate, there is no spillable claims that was made on the TFOL, and they say we don't specify legalization, but then they have conceded the piece of warrant from a climate evidence that states would never to create a tax regime that allows for the oppression of the outmust considered implication of the word to legalization. Yes, no question mark. There'll be two things such as tax regimes created alongside the plan that have an implication. One, it will create legal markets and individuals seek to avoid taxes, and two, allow for big corporations to take over, which pushes these groups to the edge of the climate. Only risk the plan deepens the divide. All discussion legalizing marijuana built around the creative decision doing so the benefits of the middle class, even though in conservation of manufacturing mechanism becomes higher, means that inevitable legal loopholes will be created so that only whites will benefit from marginalized communities who experience increase that violence at Simon, and legalization of its bill in the rape of minority country is going to force economic oppression more than 11. For minority country representative two of economic oppression down the communities marijuana sales top under bill annual heights concentration of found the lower economic environment belong to minority development balance up and up such large communities that true legalization might seek worth the money we're drink more and look at country apples and the communities they run it become the nation's next cash crop will be so far non minorities. Yeah, it'd be fun. And there, go to the biopower debate. Their evidence says assume a world where some form of central control is unable to take sovereignty for the affirmative means they won't be able to resolve all impacts and anxiety that was conceded. And Paragraph considered a warrant from the 2AC. That's a Dickinson evidence. And they say they spill over, but that was done. They say that was done abroad. And anxiety freeing from anxiety will take a long time frame where you should default to a short time frame. Smith evidence hints about the rapid increase in how capitalist investment goes, and will go over issues lead to deeper violations. Police will go over issues and go into deeper violations. The police will just shift to other areas when they can violate marginalized groups' rights. Leads to greater loss of privacy and leads to other violations. Go to the
It's on the perm. I forgot to put the last.
On the perm. Species and descent of analysis outlays diminishing returns take up solvency. Rule 90. Ethics competence essentially to problems of diminishing returns of the expansion of the circle for constant ethical and strong with the centers about change of the perimeter. Suppose the recipient of a lead taking primary was supposed to accept an inherently valid such a moral view, going because radical shift orientation of goal seeks and the outside are greater than human goal guides for human goals. And perm severs from the focus of the 1AC7 should be rejected, creates moving target, undermines education, making debates like breaking the hood diagram because the afternoon change of the human 1AC, which encourages vague action we don't defending into the 2AC, and the perm reasons from the inside undermines the stance of the species system. Rule 96. The attempt to ethical consent in the ecosystem from the outside starting from the importance of the human nuclear death, gives the death and rhyme linked to the Portuguese non-state that essential air, land, water, and other organisms to be taken to place in the world itself.
How much script again?
You have 827.